Good morning. Good morning. A little bit of a pop here at 85. So the next level that we need to see break so far this morning, we need to see it break up over 3. My first trade was actually took this pop here. So there's quite a bit of resistance here on SVRE. It tried to break up over 3 a couple of times and wasn't able to. But it gives us a little bit of a cushion to trade the next stock that pops up. And I'm assuming that there is going to be one. VRO. One made a really nice high. BIYA. Popped up, dropped all the way back down. Interesting. Let's see. Good morning, Bobby. Good morning, Sunil. All right, let's see. ACCL also hit the scanner. MAMO. ACCL. Wow, what a move. What a move on ACCL last night. Wow. That is beautiful right there. Trying to think how I would trade this. Maybe this dip trade. It's a perfect bull flag setup. SVRE, wow. All the way back up to highs, a little bit of a bear trap. Let's see if it holds this level and continues. Dropping back all the way to 3. What a pop. Indeed. See, a lot of people would probably jump in on this around this area. But for me, I'm going to wait. What am I going to wait for? I'm going to wait for this next 1 minute setup to form and then look for that bounce back up through 320s and maybe up to 340 and that continuation squeeze. Let's see if there's any big sellers up here. So up $31 so far. Big seller here. Up to 330 though. 331. Let's see. I'm going to take a starter here looking for the bounce back up to 40s. That's 31. That's 26. Having a tough time. Average position 30. Starter is at 30. That's 30 there. 31. Looking for the pop. Not going though. So stopping out. I have a cushion on the day, so I'm able to push it a little bit more than I typically do. See if this dips down and then rallies back up. It is a little bit tricky. Big seller here at 17. Adding here at 22. Watching for the pop all the way to 30. That's 30 there. Now watching for the squeeze through 40. Taking some off at 36. Now watching for the squeeze all the way back to 40s. See if it's strong enough. Resistance here at 35. Average position 22. Still watching for the breakthrough 40. The first 1 minute candle making a new high here. But dropping back down. So as that dipped, that what was it? The big seller was gone. So it made me think about getting back in. It is a little bit choppy in this area. Let's see if it starts pulling away up over 340 though. Struggling to get back over. I could imagine some really good buying volume coming in on this at 7 a.m. So watching this dip. Bounce back up to 24. $22 on the ask here. Very thickly traded though. 319 here, 320, 322. Not pulling away yet. I kind of want to see a dip and then that reclaim. Adding here at 33. That's 36, but stopping out basically break even because it didn't want to go. It popped up for a split second and then all the way back down. So that's a little bit of a false breakout. So I was able to manage some risk on that one. But if this one wants to shoot all the way back up, then it becomes interesting. So still watching here. This thing can probably turn around pretty quickly. High right now is 37. That's 310 there. If I take a dip trade on this one, I'm going to be looking for, I'm going to take a small stab there, and I'm going to look to add as it continues going back up, kind of like a curl rejection pattern. I'm not too sure if it's going to go, but, you know, we have room. It's 310, 309, kind of going in the wrong way. I'm going to stop out there. I can get back in. Good morning, trucker. Trying to time this entry here. Adding back here. Now watching for the pop back up through 20s. First 1 minute candle make a new high. That's average position 16 right now. Stop is at 7. It's worth these stabs, I do think. MACD is crossing over negative though, unfortunately. So yeah, back to break even on this one. Yeah, there's no news on this one, but just, volume like crazy. TNMG moving a little bit, lighter volume. We'll see what that ends up happening with that one over there. Up to 320. I don't see any news on TNMG either. Breaks through highs there. Up a total of 45% so far. Third leading gainer in the morning. No news, runner. Interesting. Back down to 40s. See if it holds this level here. Wanting to see it dip down a little bit further. That's 52 there. Back up to 36, 37. Interesting. There's a little bit of selling in this area for sure. SVRE pretty much sell off there. Back up to 84s, 85. Big seller here, just over 4. See if it holds 4 here. Seller coming in, 18,000 shares. Yeah, big selling coming in. Let's see. Watching for the breakthrough 4 here. Adding here at 412, looking for the squeeze all the way up through 425. There you go. That's watching for 450 now. Big seller coming in. Waiting for a 7 a.m. pop. It's possible that this could turn around pretty quickly, but that big seller there is just not going away. A lot of green orders there. But it looks like that's a sell-off. Kind of chopping around in the P&L right now. TNMG, SVRE, and ACCL are not tradable in Schwab. That stinks, man. I think a lot of people are doing a little bit of a broker switch, a broker shuffle pretty shortly. It's just, a lot of these are just untradeable, it seems. TNMG, a Chinese company moving up with no news. You know how that typically goes. Lucky to be green on it right now. It just seems like a current theme. Like they're not putting 20,000 shares on the ass. They're just keep, putting 180, which is 1,800 or 18,000 shares. Just keeps getting repeated over and over again. Every stock that I see, big sellers. I don't know why. SVRE pretty much full round trip there. Seller's still at 4. or just under 4, 399. And see if the seller breaks. Seller's gone, replaces their order at 413, a little bit higher, kind of like baiting people to, and then they place the order back at, yeah, this is kind of weird price action here. Now it's back at 4. What's interesting is this actually looks like a pretty decent pattern setting up for the breakup over 4. Let's see if it holds. VRU curling. Or is that VRO? Sorry. Adding here at 94, watching for the pop through 4. Big seller here. I'm going to give it a chance to jump. No, I'm stopping out. So back to break even. Just trying to wait for, timing on a really good stock to start pulling away, kind of like what we had yesterday. Shows as a Taiwan company. For me, it says CN, which means Chinese, but it could be a Taiwan company, native to Taiwan, and hosted by Chinese. I don't know. I don't know exactly how that works. VERO all the way back up to 369 and 370, starting to curl back up here. Good morning, Burge. So I was up green and I gave back some, trying to see if something would pull away. Happy Friday, me. So we can see if VERO wants to start pulling away up over 384. High a day right now is 408. TNMG back up. See if it wants to squeeze back up through $4 a share, kind of like what we were looking for earlier. Good morning, Overtime. There's 413. Interesting. Big seller coming back in. It's so weird price action. It's like it feels heavily manipulated. Like there's some big seller trying to get out. I mean, I am up a little bit of money. I'm up $1.75. I had a little bit of a cushion on the day from this morning of taking a really good trade on SVRE and giving back some off the top. Trying to see if it wanted to start squeezing. VERO pulling back now as well. So back to break even on the day. Not really worried. It's a pretty strong market. What's the high here? 56. So down to 380s here, holding VWAP decently well. Kind of setting up as like an ABCD pattern maybe. Good morning, Monica. I didn't lose 406 on TNMG. I was up on TNMG at the start. And I was up on SVRE as at the start as well. I took a $30 trade on SVRE to start this morning. Over traded on the backside of the move. That's fine. I was looking for it to start pulling away. And then TMNG popped up. I was up $17 on it and went back down to break even, trying to see if it would pull away as well. Gotcha. So everything's kind of on a pullback right now. The only thing that's above VWAP that's not like thickly traded would be TNMG, but the problem with TMG is just the fact that it feels so heavily manipulated to the upside here, where these dips are getting popped back up, pops up, and then you have a 18,000 share seller, comes back down, pops up. Just feels very very weird. So my first trade on it was green, taking this trade up over here. I guess it was more for the break through this level, and then I got some of that profit. I added back looking for dips here, extensions, but nothing crazy. So now it's quiet. GWAV hitting the scanner, a little bit of lighter volume. I mean, I kind of have to pull it up now since we've been seeing a lot of great momentum recently. ATGL setup forming. I don't see any news on GWAV. US company, Greenwave Technology Solutions, popping up to 714 there. A little bit of sellers here at 50s. You have to be careful on a move like this. Big seller here, dropping down. Adding here, looking for the squeeze, but small loss because I added a little bit too late. Yeah, it's slightly late add there. It's unfortunate. We might see the squeeze through 8 now, though. There's 820 now. Big seller here at 801. Let's see if it holds here at 8. Could look nice for the breakthrough 8 again. That's 84, 802, 816. Wow, what a move. Big seller here, taking some profit off. I think people's shares are a lot larger on this, hotter market right now. But I want to see if this starts turning around, because if this turns around, then it could be pretty nasty. I don't see any news on GWAV. TNMG way below VWAP there. People kind of jumped off that as soon as GWAV started moving. Watching to see if this is a possible dip below VWAP. We've seen a lot of these moves happen recently. So dipping down there at 18.7. Lots of selling coming through right now. Adding here, looking for the bounce up to 730. That's 728, 730 there, taking some profit off, looking for the bounce all the way back up, but not going immediately. Just taking the rest off, almost break even on it. Kind of a full round trip coming in now. TNMG curling through VWAP, rejecting that level, back down to 350s. Watching this dip all the way down to 650s. Seeing if it wants to give a bounce. Decent bounce to 680 and 713. So pretty much just chopping out break even today at the minute. Nothing fully pulling away. Entries aren't super dialed either. VERO curling back up to 384. It looks nice maybe for this breakthrough, this pivot level. 384. And then highs right now, 408. STKH hitting the scanner as well, a little bit of a cheaper stock, moving up. There's up to 90 on VERO. Interesting. Adding here at 4, watching for the breakthrough 4 here. There's 402, 405. That's nice. Watch to see if this holds 4 and then squeezes through 410, 408 for a breakthrough high a day. It looks really strong. Dropping that back down though. Average position 398. There's 4, 403, 407, 410. That's nice. Now just holding. I'm just going to hold this to see if it wants to hold over high a day here. As it starts curling, I'm looking for 420. That's 410. Nice. That's 415. 416. Still looking for 420 here. That's 420 there on the ask. Big seller coming in. I didn't take any profit off of 420. I'm still looking to see if this one wants to continue moving up higher. Taking some off there for that big seller. Looking to see if it holds this range and then continues to go. That's 416. Nice. Taking some more off there. 416. Now looking for the breakthrough for 425. That's 425. Nice. Now going up to 430. Now watching for the breakthrough 450. That's 450. Nice. Taking some off there. Now watching for the breakthrough 465 and 480. Nice, up to 470 there. Let's see how much we can pull out of it. Taking half off there again, holding the rest. A little bit of a topping tail coming in. Nice job, trucker. Nice trading. A little bit of a short squeeze coming in. Now you're watching for the breakthrough 5 here. Looks really strong. I think we will get the break of 5. But might just need some time to consolidate in this area before squeezing. So just holding some of my position left at 398. Watching for 45. There you go. And then watch that squeeze through $5 a share. But having some tough time here in this area. There you go. There you go. Nice up to 510 there. See if it holds 5. Kind of dropping all the way back down. It's a little unfortunate. There you go. There's back up to 5. Let's see if it holds 5 on the bid. Kind of rejecting over 5. New 5-minute candle forming as well. Could look strong for the break over. For a split second there. But once again, not holding. So I'm going to cut it there as it dips back down. So that was a whole dollar breakout for the break of 4. Got in at 398, looking for the squeeze through 4. Got 410, 445, 459, and then 490. Pretty nice trade. If this one's really strong, it might go up to 550. GWAV curling up through VWAP right now. Watching that one for a potential trade. I like this curl through VWAP. Could stop out some shorts. So watching 2 stocks at the same time, not always the best, but people jump off pretty quickly on some of these. Rejection coming in on WAV, switching back over to VERO, watching for the breakthrough. I'm going to take a starter here at 5, looking for the breakthrough 510. 506, back down to 5. See if it squeezes through 5 here. That's 502. Some selling here. giving a chance to go. There's 503, 505, taking some at 506 because it's struggling to get back above 506, taking it all off there, looking to add back. That's 5. So could have been a really good trade. Should have held a little bit longer. Kind of rejection in this area. High right now is 27. All right, let's see if we get a squeeze back up through 527 here, which is high day right now. Dipping down slightly. Adding here at 513, looking for the squeeze all the way back up through 20s. There's 513, 520s, nice. Up to 527, 536. Now let's see if this can start squeezing up to 550. There's 550 there for a split second, I think. No, 548 high. Watching to see if this one wants to break all the way back up through 550 here and start squeezing up to 6. Some selling coming in. There's 550, nice. Only breaking 550 by a couple of cents though. On a short squeeze like this, typically what you want to see it do is start jumping. And if it starts jumping, it looks really nice. There you go, 565 there, nice. What I learned from yesterday is hold just slightly a bit longer on these pops because you never know if they're going to extend through, you know, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 a share. It could just start ripping. So I'm just going to hold a little bit longer to see if we can get to 6. New 5-minute candle forming as well. Could be strong. Average right now is 513. $570. Let's see if it starts breaking up through 575 now. $72. Struggling in this area. Taking some off here. I really want to see it snap through 6. Maybe another 1-minute pullback here. Up to 570. So lots of resistance in this area, it seems. Stopping out completely there now. Yeah, it is a little bit heavy here right now. Back up to 580s. Adding here just under 6, see if it can snap over 6. There you go. Taking some profit off at 6, see if it can hold 6, and then squeeze back through. Watching for the squeeze through 6. Kind of topping out here. Holding the rest of my shares just under 6. There's 613. Watching for the squeeze through 625. That's 610. Big seller there. Dropping down below 6. So that was a scalp through the $half there. Or the whole dollar, sorry, at 6. Great day so far. A lot of good opportunities. What a sweet move. Hopefully you guys caught some of that. That was really nice. What's interesting is I don't even know if this is the top. I mean, it might continue to squeeze. Yeah, what a lovely market, Pete. I agree. It's been really nice to trade this. In with 882, out at 97. Positive slippage was at 98. These have my buying power, so good green. Oh, nice job, Q. That's what we like to see, man. So, the goal for Vero now, what I'm thinking is, if we can get back through 6 after holding the support level, we can see that extension. But right now, we're extended off the 5. How did I do on Wednesday? Wednesday I didn't do too well. Thursday I did well. I was green Wednesday, but not as much as I should have been trading pretty large positions. Well, large is relative, but for me, bigger positions on a more expensive stock, and I didn't do too well. But Thursday I did well, and then coming into Friday so far, decent. What I've been doing though, unfortunately, is I'm trading the front side of these moves and then giving back on the back side of the moves. And that you could see that all for SVRE and TNMG. I was both green on them. So what I might do from now on is, once I get good green or decent green, I might be done with that stock and then switch off to the next one. The problem with it is that, like, let's say if I do get green, and then I start trading the backside of a move, thinking it's going to go higher, thinking it's still the front side, and that's where it becomes a little bit of a problem. So the high day breakouts are working right now, but as soon as we get a colder market, the strategy has to shift a little bit. But finally, we got a nice little bit of a heat market here. Oh, okay, up to 580. This is interesting. MACD has crossed over negative, though. I'm worried about a little bit of a rejection. Let's see how strong it is. Watching for the breakthrough 6. Adding here at 92. Watching to see if this snaps through 6. Average position 88. 93. 85. 80. 88. There you go. 6 there on the ass. 605. Nice, taking some profit off. 620. Whoa. Okay. Holding the rest of this to see if it starts squeezing back up to 650 here. Didn't take any profit off at 634, thinking that it might start squeezing, but now back down to 610. Taking some more off here, seeing if it holds 6. Holding the rest break even. There's 615. 608. What a curl. Stopping out. That's what AHMA did on Tuesday with this dip setup. Below the 9 and then just curl. I mean, that was really nice. Honestly expected that trade to go red. So pulling any profit out of it, that was pretty nice. Oh, that's what you did on the backside? Sorry. Yeah, just it's interesting. It's just interesting, like one day your P&L is great, the next day it's not, I mean, that's where consistency comes in, or that strategy, but also that, the mental ability to hone in on some of these stocks. It's a good feeling to be green though, after struggling at the start of the year. 2 really nice days. All right, so this is a little bit of an ABCD pattern setup here and a 5-minute, looking for the breakthrough 6. Oh, it's bad timing. Yeah, that's that always happens to me for some reason. Like it's one of those things where you size up, you get hit down, and you're like, okay, I gotta start from ground zero again. That was me at the start of this year. But I think another way around that could have been, instead of sizing up. Hold on, watch for the break the six here. There you go. There's 613. Seeing if this dips and then squeezes back through 630 here. MACD is crossover negative, higher likelihood of a rejection. Kind of top heavy. So rejecting in this area. I think, what was I saying? When we're trading these stocks, I think about this a lot because I really want to start sizing up and producing really good profit. Not only for you guys, so I can show you how to size up, and what works, but then also for myself, just to be a little bit more proud of the situation. But I think the biggest thing is we can't size up on days that we don't know. Like, we can't come in and be like, all right, today's going to be, a good day. I'm going to increase my share size. Rather, I think the better solution would be, today is a good day. Let me increase my share size. Because each time I try to size up, I come in early. What a squeeze up to 150 here on JFBR. I come in early, with large share size instead of keeping my normal share size and then increasing if it's a good day. Because it's so strong, we could see this start squeezing up to $2 a share. VERO pulling back down to the 20 EMA here. JFBR does have news. Enters in a distribution agreement with vehicle threat detection systems developer. Whatever that means. All right, let's see this through 150. Nice. Yeah, the market, was stagnant for a while, and it's picking up now. But then some of it also has to do with that mental ability to increase share size. How's that going to affect my hesitation? If I feel a slight hesitation on my entries and exits, then it's really tough to size up. It's what I realized. I think as I'm, building up evidence of what I'm doing is right, it helps me and feels, a little bit more confident and more confident to do so. I'm not sure if JFBR is going to be able to get over 150. The reason why I haven't taken any trades on it is I have a sticky note in front of me. No stocks under $2. That's a reminder to stay disciplined and trade with a strategy that I do best. And so far, trading these stocks under $2 have not produced profit. So I have that as the notion here to not do that. TNMG popping up here a little bit. I'm not interested in TNMG at all. So for those that are on Webull right now, I did come out with a level 2 video. Trucker, actually Breakout Trucker, he's a member of the community. He sent out a video for me to look at and help him analyze the level 2. And so it was just about a 20-minute long video, and we broke down a move on, I believe it was ROLR, or I think it was on SPHL. And so he sent that over. He asked me to break it down and help him analyze the level 2. So if you guys are on the Webull platform and you want to get a little bit of better understanding on how to use it and my suggestions for it, definitely go check it out. I think it was a good video. I gave off some suggestions. Some of it was at the start was a little bit just to do with the layout itself, but come to realize that it's not his normal layout, which is great because there was a lot of stuff going on. And so he sent me the regular picture of the layout, and then we break down the level 2 on what you can be looking for and what I would be looking for on the platform. The only thing I would say about Webull, it is a little bit slow, and so you have to time the breakouts before they happen, because all of a sudden it'll be from, like, there was an example, one of the first, there was a breakthrough high a day at 428. You didn't even see 428 break. It was 425 and immediately up to 1620. And so you have to be really quick if you're timing breakouts with Webull, but that's where the tape kind of helps in a little bit, because the tape is a lot quicker from what I've noticed than the level 2 itself. And so I would definitely check that out. I'm gonna actually come out with a post. Let me actually make a post here in the announcements tab so people know as well. Webull live trading elite member breakdown. That's the mentor recordings. That's going to be a live recording, short squeeze, mentor, small account. All right. VRO. Yeah, this one could give another nice extension up. I'm going to wait till the 9 EMA gets closer to the 5 there, but it's definitely worth watching. VERO curl up here. I don't think it's ready though. All right, so that should be up. All right. So let me pull up now that we're consolidating here on VERO. Here's my trade execution. Zoom in here. So I took the breakthrough 4, took some profit off at through the highs, held up. I didn't actually take any profit up at 425. Could have been a mistake. Dips down, I get back in looking for that extension. Dips, rips. Could have added here. Instead of taking profit here, could have added. I added for the break at 6 as it came back up, looking at the break at 6 again. I'm very happy with my execution. There's a couple different places where I think could have been better, and that's these pullbacks here. Now the problem with those pullbacks is I actually tried to buy these same pullbacks on SVRE, and unfortunately I wasn't able to capitalize off SVRE. It didn't pull away like this one did. So something to analyze later on for sure. Is my mic quiet? It shouldn't be. I actually turned my gain up. So here, let me I'll turn it up even more. I don't know if I saved the profile. Wait, before I do this, just make sure everyone's volume is down a little bit lower. I would just click it 1 or 2 times so you guys can. All right, I think 7 decibels should be good. Hopefully that will help you out. I'll save this profile. Is it a little bit louder for you guys so you guys can hear a little bit better? It's better? Sweet. Yeah, I think a couple people were asking me to turn it up as well. Sweet. Awesome. LCFY moving up here as well. This one's popping up pretty rapidly. Let's see here. Up to 630, up to 7. Wow. Drops all the way down to 720 there. You have to be really quick on this one. So I'm going to give it a chance to hold, and then if it does, then we can look for a squeeze. It does have news. $7.23 there. Really nice. I have to be careful of these full round trips. They come in every so often in a hot market. That's up to 40. That's nice. $47.50. Having a tough time breaking over 650 here. Waiting to see if this gives us a curl pattern here. The spread is just about, 10, 20 cents at times. Big seller coming in as well. High volume selling, VERO popping. Watching for the breakthrough 6 here. Seeing if it holds 6. MACD's crossing over positive. It's still possible. We dipped below the 9 and then we rallied back up above. That looked really strong there for a second. LCFY continuing to curl down a little bit lower. Glad I saw through that one. All right, watching here for the breakthrough 6 still. Having a tough time breaking. We did reject already once, so we do have a high likelihood of rejecting again. It's 83, back down there. I do like this rally though. And how they, the buyers bought that back up pretty quickly. It's 88.91. Adding here for the breakthrough 6. Watching for the pop through 6 here. There's 6. Big seller here. Let's see if it gets bought. Dipping back down. Not ready yet. Average is 99. There's 603. See if it snaps. But taking a little bit off at 603 there. Yeah, not ready to go yet. Watching this dip. Still some selling pressure here. Adding here at 98, watching for that breakthrough 6. That's 613. That's nice. Now watching for this breakthrough 625. That's 620. That's 625. Now watching for the squeeze through 640. Taking some more profit off here through high day. This looks really nice for that squeeze. Watch for that break. Holding. There you go. There's your snap through. Now watching for the breakthrough 650. Just holding this as it starts squeezing. Back down to 24 though. I wanted to see it hold through high a day. Back up to 630. Taking quarter off there. I'm going to hold through this pullback here. Average position right now, 95. There's 40. Nice. High a day is 43. There you go. I think it still has some juice in it. Let's see if it holds over 650 here. And then curls. Looking for the breakthrough 7. There's 70. Watch for the breakthrough 75 and then 80. There's 80. Nice. Looking to take some profit off at the squeeze through 7. If it starts getting over 7, you could look really nice for the squeeze through $8 a share, and for it to start pulling away. So watch here if it's super strong. Dipping down below 650. Last time we had a little bit of a dip set up, it actually curled. So I'm taking some profit up in this area and then holding the rest, looking for the break back up over 680. I have plenty of a cushion here. Watching for the second attempt through 650. Big seller coming in. Yeah, what a day for Vero. What a day for trading in general. It's been really hot today. It's awesome. So cutting the rest there for just over $100 of profit on the day. So the reason why I took it off here is, Vero is giving out these crazy squeezes where it's like one candle pull back and then pull away. And so as soon as I saw that second candle dip, I was like, all right, I'll cut it off there. So pattern within patterns. All right, so scalp the market for about $1 a share. It's been a while since I've pulled down $1 a share of profit. What's funny is, minus the losses from GWAV, SVRE, TNMG, I just, it doesn't even matter on that one at that point. Chinese company. I was looking at SVRE for potential to do this, and I was actually in really early. So BIAYA, this one popped up earlier this morning. It has the potential to short squeeze, but I'm not too sure what it wants to do. Looks like some people are crushing it in the Discord. I was attempting a micro pullback for the break of 650s, would have fared terribly. Yeah. I don't know if I'm a big fan of ACCL. It is crawling back up, but I don't know. It's tempting to trade it in 6, but then we're below VWAP. I don't know. I'll be patient on that one. Totally missed the move on Vera. Had to close your tank. Oh man, that's unfortunate. You know, we're in a hotter market, so I think we're gonna see a lot more of these moves. So I don't think you have to necessarily worry. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I'll definitely have the archive up so you can watch back some of the move. Yeah, exactly. There's gonna be another one. All right, so this is Edwards' chart from today. An amazing move here. I'm trying to get this big so we can see it a little bit better on Vero. He did awesome. He bought these dips. You know, Edwards, one of these members that joined pretty much at the start of DTSM, and you know he's been here for 4 or 5 months. Edwards' progress for trading has been absolutely insane. It's faster than I think I've seen anyone else progress in trading. And he, I mean, you can look at his chart here. Bought the dip, took some profit off. Bought the dip again, took some profit off. Bought the dip again, took some profit off. Bought the dip. I mean, these are just perfect. He tries to buy this dip here. Not sure if it's going to continue going up higher. Fades a little bit, takes some more profit off, break even. I'm sure he's still up from holding a position all the way down here. Adds back and then takes the rest off this rejection. This is beautiful. This is trading the charts. It's awesome. Great job, Edward. Yeah, great job, Edward. Well, you know, even if we don't get any more movement from today, it's still really awesome. I do have some mail from Lightspeed. Let me open it up here. Oh, I see. Yeah, markets are closed on Monday. So we get a little bit of a longer weekend here. LCFY hitting the scanner, as well as VERO curling back up here. Kind of looking like a curl rejection pattern. Let's see if this can squeeze back through 650 here as it's curling back up. Watching for the break up through highs. Back down to 16, back down to 15, about a 10-cent drop. There's 20, 22. Still watching for the break through the high, which is 26, 27. Adding here 25. Looking for, there's 26. Back down to 20s though. Giving it a second to move. So cutting it there, looking for the add back if it wants to curl back around. It's a little bit thickly traded up here, but it could start pulling away again. Big seller here, 20,000 shares. Looking to see if it wants to break. There's 22. Still looking for the breakthrough 26 and 27. Seeing if it wants to stick out back up all the way to the top here. Kind of holding this range though. Dipping back down to 6. MACD is crossed over positive, so it helps out a little bit. $6.18. There's 20. NUKK hitting the scanner. DXF also hitting the scanner. Both of these making decent move. Let's see, we're at 8:30 here, news. DXF is starting to pull away. You have a big seller at just over 276, 15,000 shares. It's up to 260. This one's already like kind of thickly traded. It's moving a lot slower than, you know, the rest of these moves have been, which is interesting because it has pretty light volume so far.
All right, y'all. Quick video. This is about.
It's almost a full round trip here on DXF. Not the greatest move ever. The 200 or the 90 MA here is just under this level, but basically full round trip. That's unfortunate. JFBR or JFBR looks like it could break through this pivot level of 140. LCFY also curling back through this level. Could see that pop over VWAP. That one dipped pretty heavy coming into this morning. Lots of sellers. Breakthrough VWAP setup here. Trying to think of like the risk to reward ratio on this one, because in my eyes right now, the risk of it, dropping all the way back down after it, grinded higher. We just got to see if there's support here. There is a big bid, but I don't know. So there's a breakthrough VWAP there on LCFY. Nice, up to 5 there. 508. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 green candles in a row. Buyers did like that dip there. That's always nice. You can watch for the breakthrough 550 potentially. Don't want to get caught in a rejection though. So big bid here. Kind of getting sold into. Trying to see if this one wants to break through 550 here. Adding here for the breakthrough 550. There you go. Looking for the 575. There you go. That's 570. Still holding. Seeing if this one wants to short squeeze back up. So dipping below 550 there. I cut it for a small loss on the way back down. Took some profits at 62. Was seeing if it wanted to start pulling away to 6. Next ad could be off this dip, curl rejection pattern. We've seen this time and time again for a stock like this one. So looking for the same pattern to form. Smaller share size ad because I'm not too confident in this one. It does have news, partnership with localizer product sales across home services. It's an okay headline. So curling back up the 60s. Let's see if it holds 50s here. And then we're looking for the breakthrough 70s. But big seller coming in now. It could still curl up through 50s. So that's what we're watching for. Dipping back down, kind of rejection here. A stock like this sometimes need a little bit more time for people to trust it. So either extended dip or, a rally. So you can't expect people to just jump on immediately. Adding here at 39. Looking for the pop back up through 50s. There's 39, there's 30, it's 40. Still waiting to see if it wants to bounce back up. There's 50s. Let's see if it squeezes back up to and holds over 50 here. Not holding over 50 though. Lots of selling coming in. So that was just strictly reading the tape there for some momentum. Some selling coming in, so sold that rest off. Let's see. There's 50. I'm seeing if this can get back above 50. If it does and holds, you can possibly see that extension. So that's 50 there. We are extended off the 9. There, okay, so missed that entry. I was looking away from the level 2 there. But if this can hold, there's 6, 610. It's moving pretty quickly here. Watch this dip. Adding here 607, watching for the squeeze through 620. Not holding. Gotta cut it there for small loss. Looking to add back. This one's a little bit more tricky. Adding back at 6 there. Looking for the squeeze through 630. There's 625. Not pulling away though. There's 620. Average is 606. Back down to my average. Holding. Waiting to see if it wants to start curling back up to 630s. There's 620s again. Taking some more off there. Not pulling away up over 620 though. New 1 minute candle form. There's 630s. That's nice. Now you want to see 640 and 650. There's 635. But lots of selling in this area. Holding just a couple of shares left. There you go. There's up to 650. But really weak stock. So selling the rest there as it comes back down to break even for me. 610. Best exit was 627. So we have a little bit of a candle wick coming in for the break of that 1 minute candle. Timing on this one has to be a little bit better. It's not really pulling away too well. Dropping that back down to 580s. Back up to 610s. Co-rejection pattern maybe. Watching for the break. Adding here at 23. Watching for a small add. Looking for the squeeze back up to 44. Dropping down to 6 though. Giving it a second to see if it wants to pop back up. There's 20s. There's 23. Let's see if it snaps. Trying to break over 23 here. Having a tough time. There you go. There you go. There's 40. Taking some off at 40. Now watching for the squeeze all the way back up through high day. High day right now is, or high of this previous candle. But back down to 24. Holding for a little bit longer because that's what it seems like it wants to do. But rejection coming in. So hands off on this one, I think, for the rest. Just trading break even on it. I thought maybe we could see potential pop through, but these 9 EMA dips have been really nice on it. For that slow curl back up. Adding here at 30s, watching for the breakthrough 40s. This is the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Already back down. Wow. Yeah, this one's just tricky for me. It looks like it wants to go and break up over. And I'll take these small stabs and adds to it, but it's just not doing it. Oh, now it breaks. Oh, brother. Hmm. All the way back down to 630s. So SEGG hitting the scanner, DXF also hitting the scanner, a little bit of a crawl off of VWAP. DXF basically popped up and gave a full round trip earlier this morning, so not too interested in trading this one so far. We can see if this one holds over VWAP right now, just over $2 a share. It was a nice little bit of a rally from 180, screaming back up to 220 here. It is on SSR, so that creates a little bit of an issue for short sellers, but not an issue for us. What's interesting is because it, went down super quickly, the possibility of this going back up is, not too far away, only 50 cents away. So we could see this back through high a day if it just continues on this path. So watch this dip here, and then maybe this curl back through, a little bit of a dip on. All right, so watching here, looking for a dip trade, and that curl back up. LCFY also curling back through highs right now as well. So a couple different players happening all at the same time. Let's see. DXF curling down. LCFY made a high there of 7. Nice pop. Very, very nice pop. All right, so I got the TikTok stream going as well. So LCFY curled up there to 7, now holding the 7 level on the bid. Let's see if we can curl back up and start making a breakthrough high a day. Right now, high a day break is just over this level at 726. So watching for the breakthrough 726 here, and maybe that curl through high a day and that continuation. We are coming up to a little bit of a double top pattern as well. So a drop down here, all the way back down to 650. You have that big seller again, 18,000 shares there on the ask. What's interesting, it's just been such a theme to see just 18,000 shares as it comes back up. So now it's up to 23. It looks nice for this breakthrough 7. Sometimes it dips and then it goes. So let's see if it dips, holds, and then pulls away back down to 80s. So that's 83 there on the bid. 88. Selling's going through. Buying's picking that back up. There's the breakthrough 7 there. I have a tough read on this one. I can't read it, too well. There's back up to 85 and 90. Nice. I don't like these candle wicks up in this area. It makes it a little bit harder to trust. Nice dip down there. That's 690 coming up. Yeah, I tried to trade LCFY this morning, but had a little bit of a tough time on it. Actually sitting down red. But the one stock I am trading pretty well and pretty decently is the VERO, which I'm up $94 on that one. So there you go. There's your breakthrough 24. Watch this dip, and then maybe that next curl back through for the breakthrough 26. So, these high day breakouts haven't worked out too well. And that's a couple of the stabs that I've tried to do on this one is the high day. Nice job, Candid. Very nice job. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So on the daily chart here, we have room up to 8. It looks like. What is this level? 775. And then you have room all the way up to 14. But I need to see it hold over this high day. What's up, YBF? DXF curling as well. That one's trying to break over VWAP and hold right now, not doing too well. You know, these break of VWAP setups have been, you know, doing pretty well recently. LCFY just did one, DXF did, and then it rejected. So dipping back down here on LCFY through the 9 EMA, we can see if this one wants to hold and then curl. There's 89, 85. Let's see if it wants to start extending back up through $7 a share here. That's 95, but some selling going on. ROLR, rollers moving up a little bit higher as well. DXF curling back through VWAP. We can see if DXF wants to hold, and maybe there's a potential trade on this one for the breakthrough 220. So that's 213 there. You know, DXF rejected once, rejected twice. Odds on another rejection is pretty high. Good morning, Q. So that's 210 there. Now we're breaking up on LCFY for the breakthrough 7. Nice snap there. Back up to 734, but back down. So this one's really choppy, it looks like, in this area. It's really top heavy. DXF, another rejection back down to $2 a share there. Yeah, man, I peaked at around $100. I took a little bit of a paper cut off the top, but you know, nothing too crazy. What's up, Diana? Nice little bit of a trading day today so far. Watching for 9 o'clock news. We've been getting a couple pops here every once in a while from some headlines dropping, so we might be able to see some more as well. Let's see if LCFY wants to start breaking up over 726 and start screaming back up through 750, $8 a share. What app could you use to trade? Right now, the recommendation that a lot of people say is Webull is a good app to day trade off of mobile wise. You know, obviously it's not the best app. I recommend using you know, a computer of some sorts, but it's definitely doable over there. Ocean One does have an app. You can use their DAS platform. I have it on my phone. It's just not the best one. Yeah, I saw SHPL as well move up. Yeah, Vero was a really nice move this morning. VERO. You know, this one popped up. I think my first trade on it was actually down here in this area for the breakthrough 4. So I took this stab here for the breakthrough 4 on a little bit of a pullback, momentary pullback, got this dip, and then I rode the wave all the way back up, taking some profit off as it was going up to $5 a share. I got back in looking for this break here, and I ended up getting profit off just under. My best exit on Vero was actually, let's see, best exit 633. It looks like. ROLR. It's just a little bit more expensive. It's harder to trade, lighter volume. DXF also moving up through a little bit of a highs here. Maybe we can see this continue squeezing through high a day if it wants to start breaking up over this level. But it's already rejected this pivot level once. I would need to see it hold over this pivot first. Nice job, Candid. That's awesome. This is ticker symbol DXF at the minute that's popped up. So we're popping up over 238 here. A little bit of resistance up over 240. There's 243. Let's see if it starts pulling away up to 250 and maybe there's a potential add. So watching DXF as it holds over this previous pivot level. Dipping back down, a little bit of a dip trade in this area, potential. So watching Vero, some orders coming through on that one off that dip off of 550. That's nice. That's up on the level 2 as well. LCFY round tripping here, back down to VWAP. Waiting tomorrow for pre-market stuff. Awesome. Nice. Hope Ocean One treats you well. So far, I've had no problems trading on Ocean One. It's been awesome. Good morning, Trey. So another rejection coming in at DXF. Let's see here. So right now, Vero up 300%. That made a really nice move, up 400, almost 500% this morning. It's up a total of 97 million shares of volume traded so far in VRO. We can possibly see this squeeze through 6 as it continues breaking up over this level. We do have a pivot level as well, so let's pull up VERO here. This is the stock of the day here as well. So this one pulled away all the way up to a high of 681. Maybe we can see this break up during regular market hours. Yeah, Schwab has been pretty bad. Crazy week. Yeah, good job, M. Nice trading. OCG, BNAI hitting the scanner. Let's see, watching both of these players. BNAI, this one popped up not too long ago, if I do believe. Yeah, it popped up during regular market, now popping up during pre-market. A little bit of an ATGL setup as well. Lighter volume on the pull away here. I don't see any news. It does have news at 1 p.m. from yesterday. Let's see, pulling up OCG here as well. OCG halted, resumed. Is this easy to borrow? OCG. OCG is on SSR. Interesting. Gapping back down to 85 there. Trying to see if this is worth a stab on. Lots of stocks moving up and down today. Yeah, Schwab is blocking a lot of stocks so far. A lot of stocks are untradeable using the Thinkorswim platform at the Schwab brokerage. Not too much volume coming in OCG right now. Let's see, VRO. BNAI, a little bit of that ATGL setup coming in. I would love to see Vero continue pulling away here. We'll have to see if it wants to do it though. OCG making high a day up over 355. That might stall out VERO a little bit. There's up to 350 there. Hard to borrow and on SSR. Also listed on Threshold. It's a Chinese company moving on. No news, it looks like. I don't see any news on this one. You guys see news on OCG? Big seller here, 20,000 shares for the break of 350. Trying to take some profit off at 383 there. BNAI, pretty much full round trip there, coming down to the VWAP. OCG curl back underneath 350 there. That seller's still there at 390, blocking a little bit of the way. Let's see if we can get back up over 367 here. That's his previous high on this 1 minute candle. Yeah, watching Vero as well. $40,000 shares of selling up here in OCG. Try to get in the break of 3 on Webull. It stopped me. Oh, no trades? Oh, man. Did you stop out, Trucker, or was it it wouldn't let you? Can't trade OCG on Webull. Interesting. That is interesting. It is a Chinese company, so, you know, foreign market here, being able to trade up through $4 a share. About 20,000 shares listed at 462. We also have a bid that's pretty low here at $10 a share, or 10 cents a share. Not too sure what this one wants to do. It feels a little bit more manipulated. So just hands off on this one for now. Nice job. Yeah, VERO is a Canadian company, but or is it Canadian company, or yeah, it is Canadian. But OCG right now is a Chinese company, moving up a little bit higher. Interesting. Yeah, it looks like they are restricting OCG on the Webull platform. Yeah, I typically stay away from Chinese company as well. I think GWAV. No, that was a US company. What was the stock that we traded? SVRE. This was Israeli. TNMG. That's the stock that we traded that was Chinese today. We're sitting basically break even on this one. I was green on it and then gave back some profit. So yeah, watching Vero for the breakthrough 6 could be a good potential for the squeeze back up through 628. I think what I'll do is I'll wait to see if it gets back over 628, holds, and then if it does, then look to take the scalp through high a day, which could be nice. I typically don't trade gold. I'm only trading these small cap companies. JAGX, yeah, I saw JAGX as well. The problem with JAGX is that it's cheaper, it's very thickly traded, and it's not really having any range. I want to see a move that, you know, has some range, like LCFY, which, you know, pulled away, or VERO, which made a really nice squeeze from, you know, 350 all the way up to $6, pulled back, and then squeezed up to 681. So really nice move on there. My entries on Vero, I had a bunch of different ones. My first entry was here at $4 a share for the breakthrough highs. It popped over through highs. Added out the dip here, looking for the extension, taking some profit in this area. Added back, looking for the breakthrough 628. Sold here, didn't take any more positions. I added back, a little bit of a rejection, and then I added back finally on this last trade for the squeeze all the way up through 681, which was nice. So multiple trades here on VERO this morning. Yeah, you can actually make pretty good money doing this with a lot of, you know, large share size. I mean, anything's possible, man. So OCG, a little bit of a curl after failing to attempt to break through 4, dropping down below VWAP. You know, I'm just not too big of a fan of OCG. Chinese company, not real news on this one. Halted after a major sell-off on the daily chart. Just doesn't look too pretty. I didn't take profit at 4. I bought at 4, and then I was scalping on the way back up. So I had multiple entries. So if we go over through Vero, here, I'll show you. I'm gonna try to get this as big as possible. Hopefully you guys can see all this. So I took this dip here down in this area. I looked for this extension, took some profit off as it was moving up higher, added back, looking for this extension, added back, for this extension, added back, dips, add back, so that, I just kept buying some of these dips, looking for those extensions back up. If I can zoom into the chart. This could be good. So that was my my trades on this one. All of those stocks are blocked on Schwab. Wow, those are pretty much all the stocks that moved up today. Wow. Yeah, it's almost time to pack it up on Schwab. It looks like it's impossible to trade most of the moves. Yeah, it's not very catered to us day traders. I think they're more looking for the investor sector rather than our type of trading. PFSA. My opinion on PFSA is it's a little bit cheaper. I typically don't trade anything below $2. Just kind of a rule I set out in place because I don't trade well on those. And so if this one's going to be thickly traded, you're really going to only be looking for, a couple of cents of profit. For me, I'm just going to be hands off on this, not really too interested. But if you're trading on an account like Webull or, Charles Schwab, even if it's possible to trade, it could be a little bit beneficial. But for me, hands off. All right, let's see VRO here. So watching VRO, we have about 15 minutes left until we come up to the market open here. Got to remember that market holiday for Monday, there's going to be a no trading day. So, market closed on Monday. Right now, our leading gainers up 300% VERO. Volumes almost 100 million shares traded so far on a float that's 1.3 million. JFBR is our second leading gainer. This is up 104%. Float right now is less than 1 million shares, 68 million shares of volume traded on that one. LCFY, that one made a pretty nice move here. This one's up a total of, 88%. Made a really nice rally from the low here. Didn't really expect this to dip off a VWAP as well as it did. I didn't trust this entry. I got back in here. Then it rips and pops without me. You know, I sold off. I tried to take a couple of stabs in this area. Wasn't able to produce good enough profit. These dip trades were what we're paying, and I was not buying those dips, unfortunately. Good morning, John. ROLR, this one popped up a little bit pre-market as well, continuing to grind up a little bit higher. I'm not too sure if it's going to hold up this level. You have a little bit of a daily breakout up over, 29.50. So if you can get over 29.50, maybe you can see the high day breakout for the squeeze up over $36 a share. This one did squeeze all the way up just underneath 36. So you have resistance here at 33 as well. Have to watch out for that one. Let's see. ACCL. This one popped up early pre-market, and really early during the market close yesterday. All of a sudden, just before the close, it started pushing up a little bit higher. Market opened at 4 a.m. for traders that trade at that time, and this one rallied and made a move all the way up to 11.50 a share, which is absolutely insane. We also had BIYA. This one's up a total of 39% after making a really solid move this morning from a low of $4 a share all the way up to a high of $9.75. This one popped up, curled back down, rallied through VWAP, and broke all the way up to $10 a share. And then we also had, SVRE, which was my first trade of this morning. I actually took this dip here down underneath VWAP, and I was looking for this extension. I was profitable on it. I looked to add back through this break, and I thought this one would start pulling away up to maybe potential $4 a share, kind of like VERO this morning, which is our leading gainer. And unfortunately, this one wasn't able to hold up as well as VERO did. But as soon as VERO started popping up, I jumped on looking to take some profit on. And during a hotter market, you can kind of get away with adding into the highs. Because the market's more, if you're trading the right stock and the right setup, it's possible for it to continue moving up even higher. And so that's what I ended up doing. My first trade was at $4 a share for the breakthrough highs. I added back as it was moving up higher, taking some profit off in this area. It dips down. I add back, take some more profit off at 630. And then off this dip here, this was kind of one of my final trades on it, looking for the extension up over 7. And unfortunately, it wasn't able to pull away. I was looking for 685, 690, and that squeeze, but the high of day was 681. So right now we're on a little bit of a pullback, especially a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern, kind of on the 5 minute here on Vero. But if we can start pulling away back up over 628, it could look nice for that squeeze higher. LCFY. Got 400 out of it. Nice job, John. Nice trading. Yeah, JAGX is, I wouldn't say it's too small in volume. The problem on this one is, it's very thickly traded. So far, it has 29 million shares of volume traded, but there's not a lot of people looking at it. There's so many other stocks hitting the scanner, especially, Vero being our leading gainer. I think a lot of people's attention is on this one, looking for, a possible squeeze and scalp for this. No, I typically never short sell, so I'm only looking for long bias trades. Yeah, if it can break over 630, it could look really nice for VERO. So it's going to be interesting here to see what it wants to do. Coming into market open in about 8 minutes. LCFY trying to give a couple attempts here, but nothing really pulling away on that. Yeah, I think in a colder markets, typically short selling, seems okay, but you just have that one stock that switches around on you and goes from 10 to 20 to 50 to $150 a share, and I've seen that happen in real time. And so if I have a 100 share short position, it goes up $100 a share. I mean, that's a loss that I'm not willing to take. The most loss I can take on most of the long bias trades is if the stock goes to zero, and I've never seen that happen. I've seen a stock get delisted and be a penny stock, but I've never seen it liquidate, pretty much immediately, other than some Chinese companies. So your risk on, short selling is a lot higher than long bias trading, and that's a risk that I'm not really willing to take. Even most of these, do end up not holding these levels and then selling off. It only takes that one time to just be caught in the wrong position for that curl all the way back through, and then it'll just mess you up. Generally, what's the best advice you can think on beginners? Discipline and consistency. So my best advice is, whether you like it or not, show up each and every day and get 1% better. It's a really hard craft to, trade these stocks, but after a while of seeing the same moves happen over and over again, you get more acclimated. So discipline and patience would be the two biggest advice that I would give to as many beginners as I can. I trade a little bit differently than Ross. I would like to trade like Ross Cameron and use the share size he does, but my strategy is slightly different. We trade pretty much the same stocks, but he's a wonderful trader as well in the way he trades, and he does very well for himself. My best month trading is $1,000 of profit. CCTG pretty much went to zero. Interesting. Was that a Chinese company, John? Yeah, I use a margin account over on Ocean One. So that gives me, 3 times leverage pre-market, 6 times leverage during regular market hours. And then at the same time, you can open up a small account in no PDT rule. Yeah, I use the Warrior Trading scanners and charting. Nice job, John. Very nice trading. It says that I have about $42,000 of buying power. Yeah, I used to be part of the Warrior trading community. So, I learned a lot from Ross, and now I'm kind of on my own. I have my own community that I'm trying to build up as well. No, AWS. That was the best month so far. That was back in May. Yeah, so the basic overview of my strategy is, I'm looking for a stock to start pulling away primarily, whether that's on breaking news or a short squeeze, whatever it is. And I'm looking to take momentary dips in the market or breakouts. And so for this trade, this was a breakthrough high day up over 4. I took some stabs here as well, so looking for a little bit of a dip trades and then looking for that next curl and extension higher. So I have a little bit of patterns that I look for. This is a curl rejection pattern, also known as, it could be a bull flag. Or let's say we have an ABCD. I call that an alphabet pattern. So I'm looking for, a stock that makes a new low, gaps up higher, dips back down, and makes that next high. And so oftentimes what I'm looking for is momentary dips, buying these dips with confirmation and looking for the next leg higher. And so that's what I typically do. It's join DTSM. So it's drive the stock market. The link's in the bio as well for it. I stream live every day over on Join DTSM at 7 a.m. Sometimes a little bit earlier. Today we started at 6:45. We just had a lot of movement happening. Oh, nice. Yeah, no, I've been trading for 2 years. So, it took me a long journey to get consistently seeing more green. At the start of this month, I didn't do too well. But we, launched the new website, started streaming over there. So I had a little bit of pressure on there as well to perform. And so now I'm kind of getting back into the groove and, producing some nice days. So hopefully we can just keep this stretch up and keep going. Nice job, E-Man. Yeah, this week has been, we haven't seen a couple of these swings in a while, and it's really nice to start seeing them. Right now, my plan going into the market open, I'm going to watch Vero for the pop back over 630. If we can break over 6, that's one thing. That's cool. We need to hold over 6 and then break over 630. And if we can do that, maybe we can see it rally back through highs. And so that's what I'll be looking at coming into this morning. It's the the leading gainer of the entire market right now, up 300%. I appreciate that. Thanks, Matt. I did my website myself. I started trading in the margin account, full time in October. I appreciate the hat. Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah, I spent I spent a long time working on it. I'm not too sure. We have about a minute left here until market open on VERO. Maybe we can see this pull away coming into this morning. I use Robinhood and Webull. I want to do quicker trades. I use a cash account. Yeah, I would really recommend Ocean One. I do have a link for the Ocean One on my website as well. If you go to the community and go to the links and platform page, that'll take you to it. Oh man, yeah, that's rough for sure, Chris. Man, that stinks. Things like that happen a lot. I have some. I always keep my phone nearby because I can actually log on to my. Let's say if I lose Wi-Fi, or my power shuts off, or something crazy happens. What I can do is I can log on to my mobile device, and I can log on to the software that I trade on, and I can close my position, so I don't have to take a pretty good loss. But that's the feature of having a good platform like DAS, which allows you to do that. So market open here, watching to see if this one wants to start squeezing up through $6 a share. There's 580, 585, nice. Watch this dip and then that squeeze through $6. So that's 599 there. I want to see if it can hold over 6. That's very important for the stock. There you go. There's 608 there as it starts popping back up. A lot of people are buying into this squeeze. That's nice. Typically, I give the market a second to see what it wants to do and then look for the next rally back up. But this could look nice for the squeeze back through high a day, which is at 681 right now. Not holding up over 6, back down under the bid. We have some selling pressure coming in, about 10,000 shares on the ask, 20,000 shares on the ask there. Selling back down to 20,000 shares at 87. So, a bit of a pop and drop there coming into market open. Yeah, watch list for market open, VERO, LCFY. I'm watching ACCL and SVRE. Those are the 4 probably biggest ones that I'm watching so far this morning. The rest of them are kind of on a side chart. Yeah, we have about a 3-day weekend. Market is closed on Monday. So, I was up a total of $100 at my peak, 105, I think it was. I gave back, 20% off the top. That's typically where you start to, call it quits here. But if VERO wants to continue moving up and pulling away up over 628, maybe you can see that next extension. Yeah, nice job, Q. I think you had a wonderful week this week. You definitely pulled out some really nice winners. So it's awesome to see your journey and how much you're producing. So really nice job. Back up here to 620. You do have some resistance here at about 20,000 shares up over 620. So there's a pop over there to 623, 640. Nice. Up to 650. Okay. So now we can get a little bit more serious on this one for a possible squeeze through high of day here. Nice little bit of a move coming in on VERO. Let's see if it can hold over 650. That's 660 there. Nice. Watching for a small dip. There's just a lot of selling on this pressure as well. I think a lot of people are probably unwinding their shares from holding underneath 550 there. buying those dips. So I can imagine some profit taking and a dip trade off this level. So I'm just going to be patient here, wait for the breakthrough high of day, earlier pre-market. Join DTSM.com or drivethestockmarket.com. Both work. So watching for a small dip down to the 30s here, and then maybe that next grind higher back up to 662. I think it still has some gas to go up over high a day. That's kind of my thoughts on it. We just have to be able to time this right. So still watching here for now. Have a good one, Q. Yeah, I'm looking for the breakthrough 7 here as well. It could look nice. You know, we're suffer from halts now. It's a Nasdaq listed stock, so we don't have to worry about, you know, not seeing halt resumptions. That makes it a little bit easier for us to trade coming into this morning. So I typically go live over on joindtsm.com at 7 a.m. Yeah, a little bit of a supply zone. I agree here. You know, there's a little bit of selling up in this area of 662, holding up this range decently. Maybe we can see this curl back over 650 here that I'm watching. Let's be patient. There's 650. There you go, 680. Watch for the breakthrough highs here. Wasn't able to hold over 680, but nice squeeze back up to 680s. Waiting for a setup that I like. Nice breakthrough high a day there. That's really nice to see. Up to just under 7. We have a big bid here. Trying to break over 7, but about 30,000 shares there at 7. There's 710. Watch to see if it holds on the bid on 7. And then look for the next extension going up higher. So dip here. There's 705. Waiting for this dip. Nice dip. There you go. Seeing if this one wants to rally back up higher. But dropping back down to 670s. I don't like to see that. There's a lot of selling in this area. Back down to 660 here. You know, during regular market hours, sometimes it's a little bit tricky with halt levels. Right now, halt level is at 513. Let's see if that removes and readjusts somewhere else. You have to be a little bit careful in this area. Just waiting for a pullback pattern. So dipping back down to 650s here. Let's see if it holds support at 650. There's 651 on the bid there. A little bit of a, you know, 17,000 shares on the bid, gapping back up to 663. That's nice. GWAV hitting the scanner. That one popped up a little bit ago and gave back most of the move. Nothing else really moving so far. A lot of attention just on VERO. Lots of profit got taken up into the 7s. So yeah, LCFY halted down. All right, but I appreciate everyone for tuning in today over on TikTok. I'm going to be streaming live the rest of the day over on joindtsm.com. I typically start streaming there around 7 a.m. Monday morning, we have a market close for Martin Luther King Day. So market will not be open on Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday for a live stream. So we'll see you again coming into the weekend. If you haven't already checked out joindtsm.com, you know, I'd highly suggest it. There's a lot of free content on there that you guys can see for yourselves and get a picture of what works in this market and what doesn't, what I look to see every day. I post my recaps over there live every day as well. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your trading day, and we'll see if LCFY can start breaking back over $7 a share here. It looks pretty strong for the break. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow or Monday. Peace. Okay, so popping back up to 730 here, it becomes a little bit more interesting for the squeeze through 750 if we can start breaking up over 45 and 55. Let's see if it wants to start squeezing here. I'm worried about the next little bit of a drop. Last time it popped up to a level like this, it dropped back down. So let's see if it can hold over this 730s level and then start squeezing. So there's 730 there, back down to 720, all the way back down to 717. You know, timing this market has to be pretty difficult, especially coming into market open. I typically don't trade well during market open. I trade a lot better during pre-market. That has to do with a little bit of halt levels and some other factors, but let's see if this can start squeezing. We're still up 400% right now on this one. So watching for a possible dip here. There's your dip all the way down to 10s. Let's see if we can get back up. A little bit of a seller here, 20,000 shares, just over at 715. So, this one's been, popping up and then dipping pretty heavy. Let's see if it holds over 7. Previous high day is 681. All right, so let's see if it dips down, holds support, and then curls back through. There's some resistance here, 20,000 shares at 7. It makes sense, some selling coming through. I just want to see the next leg go higher up to 750 and then pull away maybe to 8, halt up, and this is a really strong move. What I would not like to see, if this halts down, then that could be pretty bad. So 711 there, 712. I'll take a starter here at 712 to see if it wants to start popping back up for a small add back up to 720s. If a big seller comes back in, I'll pretty much sell flat immediately. There's 710, 715, 720. There you go. Up to 730 there. That's nice. Let's see if it pops through 740 and 750. Some selling coming in. So I'm all out there. Wanted to see that breakthrough highs. BIYA moving up here a little bit as well. BIYA, yeah, we're still a little bit further away from VWAP at the minute. We have resistance at 7 and then 750. So we have a while to go before that starts moving back up. Watching VERO here, maybe we can see possible 5-minute setup for curl, lighter volume on this pullback, so it could look nice for that squeeze. So drop back down to 7s there, but was able to hold. Looks like people bought that dip off the 9 EMA pretty nicely. 9 EMA is at 693. Big seller at 705, 20,000 shares. What would be interesting if this can drop and then reclaim and curl all the way back up, that would catch some shorts off guard, I would assume. So there's your reclaim. Let's see if we can get back over 7 and hold. There's a pop back up. There's the 702. There you go. Nice. Now this looks interesting for a rally back through 7. So still staying patient, trying to get a little bit of a sniper entry here at these lows. There's 699, 698. Possible false breakout here. MACD's crossing over negative in this area as well. Have to be a little bit careful. So hands off now that MACD's crossing over negative. If this rallies back up higher, I'll be really impressed. Looks like Q had a really good trading day. All right, so let me lock up today here. I'm gonna export my file and upload it to DAS. So 11/16/2026. So calendar now looking pretty refreshing, if I will say, turning around my month. So really good morning today. We finished up with 25 trades, typically higher than the average, around 60% winners. I started today off on a nice green winner. I wasn't able to retain that though, gave back most of the move, 3 trades red, stopped trading that stock. That's a good one. Then curls back around. TNMG was green on it, then went small red, was able to pick back up on GWAVs. One red trade, one green trade. It's all right. Try to give it a couple of attempts, and then Vero started kicking off. Had a back-to-back really nice winners. Small loss, another nice winner, small loss, couple nice winners, and that finished off the day today with $87 of profit. At my peak here this morning, I finished up. I was up $100, and so it's a really good stretch here of green days. Accuracy on this week here was not very good, but I think we're able to. If we go to this month's report, I was able to pick up my accuracy back, and that was focusing on the highest quality setups and doing well from there. So it's just good turnaround. This is exactly what I needed. If I traded even slightly better on Wednesday, I think I could have had a really nice day as well. I would imagine Vero being a little bit choppy in this area, not really giving another nice move unless later on in the day it starts pulling away. Maybe we see this 5-minute candle make a really nice extension. So let's sit here for just a minute and then watch the break through this 5-minute candle. And if it doesn't end up working out, I'll probably call it quits and show up again on Tuesday, locking up the profit today. So here's your pop up over $7 a share here potentially. MACD is crossed over negative, so you have a higher likelihood of a false breakout. Got to remember that. BIYA here moving up higher. It looks nice for the breakthrough view up of over 720 and 740. That's something to keep on the watch list as well. I will be coming out with a recap later on today if you guys want to check that out on my trades from this morning. But I hope you guys did well trading as well, trading on some of these stocks. A lot of good volatility, a lot of opportunity for us. So no breakout yet. Let's see if this candle flips red. So it is holding a little bit of support here, but now flipping red. Interesting. -6 today. Gotcha. Yeah, well, you missed out on Vero. That's not necessarily your fault. Just, lack of, wasn't there to trade it. So, no worries there. We'll get another nice one, and, eventually we'll see this nice pop and pull away. If you do have your recording from today, if you feel free to send that over the same way you did previously. I'd be happy to look over that as well. But, thanks everyone for tuning in today. And we'll see you back on Tuesday. Remember, market is closed on Monday. So peace, everyone. And we'll see you coming into next week. Have a nice day, everyone.